we talk a little bit about different areas, but we really try to focus on certain aspects of it. Obviously, it's much more complex than that, but the thing about it is we don't want paralysis by analysis. If you overanalyze mechanics, you're probably going to be thinking as you're hitting, and that's not a good thing. You guys know as well as I do, when you're red hot, you're just seeing that baseball and you're putting a good swing on it, man. It's a good feeling in the world. And when you're struggling, you're probably thinking about, where are my hands right now? Hey, am I getting to there on time? Am I doing all this stuff? We don't want our guys thinking too much. We want them reacting. We want them trusting their abilities. At the end of the day, guys, you spend hours in the cage, and you get about 1 minute to 2 minutes a game hitting. So you got to value every second you have in there. You got to put a good swing on it every time. 3 things that I like to talk about with hitting. Number 1 thing is late eye contact. Okay, seeing the ball off the bat. The difference, how many guys have a picture where your mom or dad took a picture and you as a little kid hitting a baseball or swinging at a baseball, and as you get to the picture you see this with your eyes? How many of you guys have seen a picture of yourself like that? Be honest. We all have. What is a 10-year-old kid trying to do to get you out? What is he trying to do? What is his coach telling him to do the entire at-bat? Throw it over the plate. Throw it over the plate. Just throw strikes. That's all they're trying to do at 10 years old. So sometimes you might see it 2/3 of the way. You get here, boom, you come off, and you might still hit doubles, and you don't even have to look at it the whole way. Well, what happens when you get to the next level, when you get to high-level high school state playoffs, or you get to college baseball or professional baseball? Pitchers aren't just trying to throw it over the plate anymore. They're sinking it at 91 miles an hour here. They're coming back with a slider at 84 coming this way. Then they got a changeup at 81. And then they might even mix in a curveball at 77. They are trying to do everything in the world to disrupt your timing. One of the most important things you can practice is late eye contact. If I have on my phone a bunch of pictures of big league hitters. I love to get contact point pictures just to see where everything is. Almost every one of them, you see the same thing. You see their backside through. You'll see a firm front leg. They'll be behind that front leg. And you'll see late eye contact right here. It's one of the most important things in hitting. And it's something that you have to practice every single day. See the ball late. See it late. Make sure you're seeing it all the way off that barrel. The next thing is bat speed. You have to attack the baseball with bat speed. Okay, you have to let it go. I see a lot of kids today's day and age who do not feel for that baseball. Let it go. Some of this is God-given for some of you. Some of you guys are just going to have better bat speed because you're bigger and stronger. Some of you guys aren't as strong. You might have less bat speed. But whatever your maximum bat speed is, you want to attack that baseball with that bat speed. Last thing to talk about, rhythm and timing. I am tired of watching games where I see guys late on fastball. You have to be on time for a fastball. I'm telling you right now, if you get a kid with a good fastball, and you're facing this kid, he throws hard, he throws 90, yeah, he reaches 90 mile an hour, which is hard for high school especially. You say, man, this kid throws pretty hard. If you go out in the first 2 or 3 innings of that game and you hit his fastball, very few of them are going to have a good day. Okay, be on time for that fastball. It's straight, it's there. Be on time for that fastball. So rhythm and timing is really, really important in what we do, okay? We want to get there on time and in good position to hit. One other thing I want to emphasize a little bit. Let me back up a step. How many of you guys like the tee? Be honest. How many of you guys don't like the tee? Yeah, okay. Hey, the tee has some real good benefits for you, okay? It can help you with your late eye contact. You can practice, you can hit off the tee, you can pose in your finish and work on your late eye contact. Okay, you can work on generating some bat speed off that tee. What don't you get out of that tee? What's the third thing I talked about that you don't get? Rhythm and timing. So I do like to do some tee, but I also think you need to do a lot of live stuff, okay? Because that's how you develop your rhythm and timing. One of my favorite tee drills. You gonna help me with this tee drill, man? Got my back here? All right. One drill that I love is I call it the 2-ball drill. And I think it's a real good drill because you can do it on your own. What the 2-ball drill is, it's not what some of you might think. The 2-ball drill, when we hit off the tee, we hit in the cage. Where do we try to hit the ball? Back net. Back net. We try to hit off that black square back there. Okay, maybe it's a rectangle. I'm sorry, I don't want you to think I don't know my shapes. Okay, so we want to hit off that back square. We want to see that ball taken off at the backspin. So when you're doing that drill, I'm sure some of you guys, you miss hit a ball over there, then you roll over one, and you kind of get your feel. Certain days you get that feel down where everything's through the back of the cage. You're saying, hey man, my swing feels pretty good. What I like to tell kids at that point is they move back 1 ball length towards the catcher. Boom. So if I move back one ball length towards the catcher and I do this again, what am I probably going to do with some of the next 5 swings? I'm going to pull it to pull side on the ground. So what do I have to force myself to do? I have to stay through that ball a little better. So instead of coming out of here, I stay through the ball and I make my adjustment. I hit some balls along the way because you're human, but you're an athlete. You're determined, so you figure it out and you stay through that ball a hair longer. It's called the 2-ball drill. What do you think I do next? Move back one more ball length. This is going to get hard now. And now we start to get through, and now we start hooking the ball again. But we manipulate our hands. We stay behind our front leg. We do everything same. And now we stay through that ball longer. Guys, when you stay through the ball longer and guys change speed, you have a better chance for success. Okay? At the end of the day, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, when your timing's perfect, you're going to drive a ball. And man, that feels good, man. I got my swing today. My timing's good. Everyone will tell you your timing's jacked up, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you just have less of a chance for success because of how long your barrel stays in the zone. When you hit a ball to the opposite field, what does your ball do a lot of times? I'm sure you guys have done it. Side spin, pop up. It's going like this with a weird spin on it and going that way. And when you hit the ball to pull side, what does it do? 18 hopper to that guy. So we get a lot of kids that get here. If everything's perfect, boom, they crush that ball. But they get out of here so quick, so it's pull side grounder, or I cut across and get that side spin pop up that way. Because we don't stay through the ball long enough. That's one thing if I can tell you to do. Emphasize get to the inside of the ball and stay through the ball. I don't like inside out. I like hitting through the inside of the ball and staying through it as long as possible. The best of you guys are so young, you probably never even, well, you probably heard him because he's still playing, but you don't really know him. He's on the West Coast, Albert Pujols. He had a 5-year stretch where he was unreal. And what you'd see with Pujols in video is he'd go ahead and he would hit. Obviously, I can't do it right because it just feels weird to me. But he would hit a ball, boom, and he hit over the right field fence. He was a hair late on a fastball, just a hair late. But what he did as well as anyone is he got on playing with that baseball. He'd hit over the right field fence. Great job of going the other way with that outside pitch. Not necessarily. Sometimes he was just a hair late, but what he did is he got on playing on time. Now when Pujols was perfect, when everything was right, you got out your StatCast, the ball was 460, it was landing in that grass in center, and they're like, oh my goodness, this is perfect. That's when he'd get that ball out in front, he'd hit it from gap to gap, and the ball would go forever. That was Albert Pujols when everything was perfect. But Albert wasn't perfect, he's human. I know you see all those machine commercials, if you guys have ever seen that one on ESPN. He's not a machine, he's human. So what would happen is sometimes he'd get it out in front on a breaking ball. He'd get fooled by a changeup, something. And what he would do is he'd hook a ball down the left field line, he'd hit a ball about 10 rows deep in the bleachers. Sometimes he'd hit a double down the line and say, wow, he did a good job of waiting on the breaking ball. Not necessarily, he was fooled on that pitch. But what he did better than anybody in the game was stay through the baseball. So if I can tell you one thing, stay through that baseball as long as possible. But you got to do it with bat speed. It's kind of, obviously you can stay in the zone forever, but you're not going to do any damage that way. So you got to attack with bat speed and stay through that ball as long as possible. That 2-ball drill is an unbelievable drill for helping you to get that feel and to know what that feels like.